Hello, hello, and welcome to Community TV with Adaire. This is TV for you by TV from me, where I talk to people in the community who are doing amazing things to add value to the lives of people around them. Now, it might be meditation, a yoga class, learning to cook, reading tarot cards, healing, physical fitness, or gardening, whatever you're interested in. We're going to be covering it here. Now, today we have a very special guest on Community TV with Adaire. Her name is Marion, and she's a dynamic and creative entrepreneur has lived abroad for the last 7 years. She founded Mabel Box in 2015, leading and first beauty box subscription business in Vietnam. She has a strong background in digital marketing and public relations. Marion has now founded Mister RYE, which is an Aussie startup on a mission to replace the 10 million single-use plastic straws used every day in Australia. Working with Australian organic farmers, they're following a circular model using a byproduct to replace plastics that will then biodegrade itself in the garden or home compost. So welcome, Marion. Just bring you in.
Hello, how are you?
Hello, thank you so much for joining us. There's a little bit of background noise here, and I hope it's not too distracting, but we are in a library, and shout out to the Redlands City Council Public Library.
No worries.
So Marion, very interesting project that you've launched. But before we get into the Mister RYE, and I'd love to know how you became to launching the Mabel Box. Did I pronounce it properly?
Yeah, Mabel Box. It's actually in French.
Mabel Box. Oh, okay,
yeah.
So in Vietnam, that sounds very interesting combination.
Yeah, so it was actually a few years back now, but I moved to Vietnam in 2013. I was 22-year-old at the time. And I moved over to Vietnam because I had a relative who was living there, and she kind of dragged me into Vietnam and was like, "Oh, come over here. There's lots of opportunities, lots of things you can do, especially in marketing. Here, everything is very new. People don't use a lot of digital marketing, so I'm sure that you can learn a lot in practice." So that's what I did. And coming to Vietnam, I saw that Vietnamese women loved beauty products, but that there was nothing to introduce them new products, really. And I was a huge fan of the beauty box concept in Europe before moving abroad. I was a subscriber and I was receiving my monthly beauty box at home. And I loved this concept of discovering new beauty products every month. So I decided, I actually saw that it didn't exist in Vietnam, and I saw a gap in the market, and I saw that it could be a huge potential for Vietnamese women to discover beauty through the same concept. And as nobody was doing it, I was like, well, if nobody's going to do it, someone has to do it. And yeah, that's how I came with the idea of the beauty box in Vietnam. And that was actually the first beauty box concept, or the first subscription box concept in general, actually, because it didn't exist at the time in Vietnam, and focused on cosmetics.
Okay, so how did that work? I know we're going to talk about your current project in a moment, but I have never heard of the beauty box before.
Oh, okay. So it does exist in Australia.
I must be living under a rock.
No worries. So the concept of the box is that so as a customer, you would subscribe online, and you would fill a beauty profile with all your beauty characteristics, so your skin type, the problem you might have with your skin, your hair type, all the details about your beauty routine, really. And according to that, you would receive a box every month with a selection of products that match your beauty profile, where you discover different brands and different products in travel or full size. And that allows you to discover new brands and see if you like the product before purchasing it full size in store. So that's the concept beauty box subscription. Yeah.
Wow. And is that still going, or have you?
Yes, the concept is still going. I sold it at the end of 2017, and I moved to Australia. But yeah, it's still going. It's been run by a Vietnamese team now.
Oh, beautiful. So moving on to from Vietnam to Australia, that's been a recent move, or from?
So I moved to Australia at the beginning of 2018, February 2018 to be more precise. And yeah, the goal was really like I've always wanted to come to Australia to do a van trip. So, buying a van and cruising around Australia. That was my dream for a very, very long time. So after that,
I'll let you in on a secret. Us Aussies do it when we're my age.
I know, I met a lot of Aussie on my road trip actually. But yeah, so coming to Australia and after this business acquisition, really wanted to take some time off and reflect back on that experience, because it was a really, really hard business to create from the beginning. It took me 3 years of really, really hard work, and I was the only founder of it. So everything was just lying on my shoulder at the time. Yeah. So I needed that time to reflect and to really do some really easy work, or just travel, change my mind really. So I arrived to Australia, I bought my van and I started cruising around Australia, and I did it for 1 year. And that would be that would be the how I started to come to Australia. That's the beginning of the story.
That's beautiful. So, and you end up in Adelaide.
Yeah.
Well, for now, I guess. So there's obviously a passion for sustainable conservation and ecological use of sort of products, and so how did that come about to be the Mister RYE project? In fact, we can just share a little bit about what the project is, and then how you came to be so passionate about what you're doing, because it seems to me like that's another hard gig that you've taken on. But
So Mister RYE is working with South Australian organic farmers who are growing cereal rye, and we're using a waste product, a byproduct from their crops, to replace plastic products. And so what we do really is after the farmers harvest the grain part of their crop, there is still the stalks remaining on the field that they usually don't use, and they just leave it there to drink the soil or to nourish the soil. And what we do is we harvest them, so the stalks. So I'm going to show you actually the camera. So that's the stalk of the plants, and we cut it to the nodes, and we sterilize it with natural processes, and that's our straw. So it's a very simple product. We don't manufacture anything, but what we wanted to do was really to have a local product that was organic and safety of it, without carbon footprint, in order to replace a current big plastic problem, which is the 10 million straws used every day in Australia. So that's what Mister RYE is about. Mister RYE is currently a drinking straw that is aiming to replace plastic straws and other non-environmental friendly straws. And how it all started, so after my little road trip around Australia, I wanted to focus on an industry that made more sense to me, in a way that it could actually help solve a world problem. And coming from Vietnam, where plastic is everywhere, really everywhere. Yes. People actually don't. There is no recycling scheme. People just throw everything on the ground. It's really different from Australia. But coming from that country where plastic is everywhere, in Australia, I was still noticing in all the beautiful places that I've traveled to with my van, all the plastic bits and pieces everywhere. And at that time, that's when I met my founder.
have lost Marion again. No, she's back.
I'm here. Yeah, so while cruising around Australia and noticing all this plastic everywhere, that's how when I met my co-founder, Alexis, who is also French. And we decided together to apply for that new program in South Australia, which is called New Entrepreneur Program. And it allows foreigners to launch a business in South Australia for an initial time of 3 years. So, so that's how it all started, really. And so taking this problem and this possible project that we had, we kind of merged both together in order to launch Mister RYE.
Okay, so now I just missed the first bit of that because it just froze up a bit. I'm not sure whether it's my end or your end, but you said there was an entrepreneur program that allows you to launch and run a business in South Australia for 3 years. Is that part of the reason why you're in South Australia now, or
yes, exactly. Yeah. So that's because it's a new program that has been launched at the end of last year in November 2018, allowing foreigners to launch a business in South Australia for an initial time of 3 years. And for us, it was the best opportunity that we could wish for in order to stay in Australia and launch business at the same time.
At the same time.
Yeah. So that's how we ended up here in Adelaide, and that's the whole project that we're working on since we are here in Adelaide.
Okay. So this is very exciting. So you're connecting with the organic gardener, organic farmers, and do you need a large processing plant to process, or what sort of things? I know you will announce the crowdfunding campaign that you've got launching on Friday. Now, what sort of things do you need that are going to help this get up and running?
So the way that we are launching the project is we really want to involve the community as a part of it, because we believe that if we want to make some change in the plastic industry, especially towards the 10 million plastic straws used every day in Australia, we cannot do it alone. We need to be a community, and people must be involved with us in order to do something about it. Then we can try and solve this problem all together. That's why we decided to launch a reward-based crowdfunding campaign, because it allows us to do it all together and to work on that big plastic pollution problem. So the way we do it is pretty simple. The harvest time is coming in December in South Australia.
Yes, so I grew up from good farming stock in South Australia.
All right. And so we're working with different organic certified farmers in South Australia, in the Riverlands, more precisely. And when we first met them, we introduced them our project, and they just loved the idea. They didn't even think about it themselves before, and they loved the idea, and they jumped on board really to work with us on the project. And so since 6 months, we've been working together to find the best processes in order to collect these crops and process them into straws. So in December, when the harvest time will come, they will harvest their grain as usual, and they will sell their grains as usual. But after that, we'll basically work together on harvesting the stalks and process the straws. And everything will be done here locally. So our farmers are in the Riverland, and we'll process all the straws in Adelaide, because we want to have the lowest carbon footprint, and we want to run the project to be very as carbon neutral as possible. And that's how we will get our straws, really. So compared to other alternatives that are existing in Australia, I would say the best thing about Mister RYE is that it's a really local product. We are using the existing raw resources here available. It's a byproduct of the organic agriculture, so we're using a raw material that would be waste. And we are transforming, or we're processing this product into a new alternative to plastic.
I think that's brilliant. What an incredibly amazing concept you have there. I would like to say before we move on that I actually can't see that we have any comments here. So if you are here joining us on Community TV with Adaire, thank you very much. Appreciate you joining us. I can't see if you shouted out and said you're here. At the back end, the comments have disappeared. So we will pop back and acknowledge that we've seen you if you have made a comment. And so just letting you know what's happening in the dashboard here at the moment. We are broadcasting live on mytimetv.live, and we're syndicated out to over 50 channels of TV on demand through the Binge Network syndication program. So you'll find us on your smart TV app as well. And also, please support Mister RYE, support this amazing concept, because it is that Marion's incredibly passionate about it, but I can see that in a way that the way that we can all have a hand in helping make our world a bit more sustainable and, you know, a safer place for people, and definitely ocean animals, and, you know,
for the environment.
The environment as well to be. So so we can all do our little bit. And if you say that, well, really can't afford to give a donation to the crowdfunding program, then if you could just make sure that 5 people see this would be wonderful. So if that's all you do, then that's appreciated as well. So
I just want to add a little thing about the crowdfunding. So it's not going to be donation only. We want to, so basically it's a reward-based crowdfunding. So we prepared actually lots of different packs and packages where people will actually receive straws when we will have finalized the production. So according to what people would like to discover, we've made actually different packages, and some of them are depending on if it's a customer, like individual customers or businesses. But we will also focus a lot on businesses, because our goal is to see all the cafes and restaurants stop using plastic straws, but give instead a local and sustainable alternative. So we're also targeting businesses with Mister RYE, and all the different rewards will actually reflect that.
That is fantastic. So in terms of an individual, so are they reusable, or would you buy a packet like you do with the straws and dispose of them? And tell me, how's that? You said it was a circular process. So
yeah. So basically, so at home they are reusable. From the time that you don't crack them or bite them, they are reusable, and you can even put them in your dishwasher to clean them. That's how strong they are. So the RYE is a very strong plant. Like the one I have, it's really, really strong. You can put it in the dishwasher. You can reuse it as long as you want, and as long as it doesn't get cracked. For business, I think for safety and hygiene reason, they would throw them away. But as it's a totally biodegradable product, it can go in a garden, it can go in a green bin, or it can go in a home compost. That's no problem. It will automatically biodegrade.
And so in terms of, yes, it'd be great to see them available to, sort of purchase as packages of straws from the supermarket shelves, and for, cafes and hotels and anywhere where they serve beverages. It would just be a huge boon. And I can see it's so sustainable, because, it's a byproduct of what's already been done. So I think it's a brilliant idea what you're doing. So is there, so we can go over to the crowdfunding page now that it's not actually launched yet. Tell us about the launch, Marion.
Yeah, so the launch is happening on Friday at 12 p.m. So in the meantime, we invite people interested to sign up on our pre-launch website, which is the link below the screen, where you will receive the official link of the crowdfunding campaign on Friday.
So it's
Prelaunch.MrRYE.com. That's the. You can also follow us on social media, and we'll also post the news on there. But with the algorithm, we never know. It's always better to receive an email.
Well, that's right. And the other thing that you can do to contact Marion directly is go to the Mister RYE Facebook page, there's a link above. There's actually a couple of links above in the post above, and you can send Marion a message, and she will quite happily, I'm sure, send you a link to the crowdfunding page when it has launched. But I've actually typed it down here, prelaunch.MrRYE.com, if you would like to go and register for when it actually launches. So that's fantastic. You must be absolutely flat out, and you're sitting here calm as a cucumber. That's
this week is a bit crazy for us.
I know I said that.
Finalizing everything, making sure everything is ready, all the content. We are launching a video as well for the crowdfunding campaign, and this video we've been working on since April, so it's a big project. It's a big project.
So I think on that note, is there any final words that you'd like to say?
Thank you very much for having me. It's a very nice way to introduce the concept of Mister RYE to your community. So thank you very much.
Yes. And definitely, we've got the Women in Business Adelaide community. So keep us posted over there on Facebook So now I did one more question. It was it's focused in South Australia right now, but is there plans to go national and international as you? Yeah.
So obviously we're starting here in Adelaide. The goal is to go national and to replace all the plastic straw used in Australia.
Right, that's right. You said that.
We'll go to other states as well, and we're hoping to be distributed as much as possible in other states, and have also requests from people living everywhere in Australia. We're not planning on shipping abroad for the very simple reason that we are producing locally, and we are trying to have the lowest carbon footprint with our product. So it wouldn't make sense for us to ship it to another country. But what we would do to export the concept would be more to export the business model and work with local farmers in these other countries in order to have the same product, but that works with the local economy of the country. So that's the plan.
That's even better, and it's a more sustainable economic model as well, isn't it? So it sounds like you're winning on all counts, Marion. So more power to you, and all the best with it. And I do look forward to keeping in touch. What you can do is, when we get the crowdfunding link, if people haven't signed up for the pre-launch, we can just back here and drop it in the comments thread below, so people watching the replay will be able to grab the link in a couple of days if they don't sign up to the pre-launch. But I'm going to jump off here, and I'm going to jump on the pre-launch and sign up for that, and so we'll be across everything that's happening. So thanks, Marion. Thanks so much.
Thank you very much. Have a good day.
Bye for now. Okay, so that was Marion from Mister RYE, and they are launching the crowdfunding campaign on Friday for the new. They're on a mission to rid Australia first of plastic drinking straws, replacing them with rye straws made out of the stalks of rye plants. So that's Community TV with Adaire. We're live on mytimetv.live, also syndicated out to 50 channels of TV on demand through the Binge Network's syndication program. See you next week at the same time for Community TV with Adaire. Bye for now.